What's going on, my fellow rapscallions? A couple videos back, I promised to shout out any new subscribers, and we got a couple more, so let's get them famous. First was my brother, but I won't mention his name at his request. I keep my subscribers' privacy. Our lucky 13th subscriber goes by the Chick Magnet net handle. I changed my first and last mind. Now, to be honest, I don't know exactly what that means, but I kinda like it. Sounds like the title of a country song. Welcome to the club, buddy. So the big news I have this week was that while cleaning the high school, I caught a couple of kids vaping synthetic marijuana in one of the bathrooms. I walked in and heard someone say, "Now hit this, but try to not cough," and I knew what was up. I shouted custodian because children use these bathrooms, and according to policy, I have to announce myself before entering. Both of them came out of the handicapped stall and immediately started apologizing. And one of them tried to hand me the vape pen. I was like, "I don't want that," and explained that they couldn't be smoking in the bathrooms. So they immediately asked if I was going to take them to the principal's office, and I was like, "No, just don't be doing that in here again," before telling them to get out of there. What really blew my mind was the fact that they acted like I was a teacher, and I had to remind myself that these are children. I also wasn't even aware that I had the ability to take someone to the principal's office. I spent so much time trying to not be part of the system. I guess that is why I let them go and didn't confiscate their vape. Looking back, I should have told them to throw that shit away and go buy some real dope like normal kids. Hopefully those two stoners will remember that I let them go and not be such wank pheasants. And then later, that same night, the school marching band was practicing in the hallways. For the acoustics, I guess, and they were playing a song that I recognized but could not remember the name of for the life of me. It was just an instrumental melody. Finally, it hit me. The band was playing BBL Drizzy by Metro Boomin. Why the hell the marching band was playing that is beyond me. I thought it was hilarious though. That song is a gosh darn it song, which is one of those songs that gets stuck in your head and stays there. I was walking around pushing my little custodian cart singing that song until I shouted "gosh darn it" at the top of my lungs. Speaking of lungs, I finally stopped coughing since the last time I was sick. My lungs were sounding very wet there for a while. And speaking of sounding very wet, there is this cross-eyed fellow custodian who bent over to pick up this mop that had fallen off of his trolley, and when he did, he let out this gnarly fart that sounded productive. You know what I mean? Like he shit himself. He sharted. I was thinking, hey yo, in my mind like your boy Scott Hall. I would be willing to bet if he dropped his pants, there would be a skid mark in his nasty skivvies. I remember one time when I was streaming on my other channel, this kid farted and signed out of the game immediately. At first, we were super confused about what was going on, but someone else in the chat was like, "You didn't hear that wet-ass fart? That boy shit himself." I don't know what was going on, but once he explained it, the whole situation suddenly made sense. Hilarious. So I went into the bathroom to clean it, and when I clean the mirrors, I like to draw designs with the glass cleaner before I wipe them away. This time I did a Mickey Mouse outline just for shits and giggles, my own personal amusement. It's the little things in life, pal. Oh, we have footage. Check this out. Look how pleased I am with myself. A proper wank pheasant. Your job isn't about the pay, it's about the fringe benefits. This being one of them. Check out this 3D printer I found just running at like 10 p.m. at the high school. I don't even know what the hell it is making. It reminds me of that movie Neighbors where Dave Franco says, "Now I can go to class while my dick prints." They were making 3D versions of their dicks or something. I can't really remember. But anyway, I am thinking of pawning all of my possessions in preparation for truck driving school. I need to downsize. I need to fit all my possessions excluding clothing into a single box. The only real things of value that I have is my PlayStation 4, a couple of games, and a small monitor. I'm not even really concerned about how much I can get for it. I just need to get rid of it. I have filled out a couple of applications with local schools that pay while training. There was a school in Joliet, Illinois that provided room and board and meals, the whole shebang. It was enticing, but it was in gross Illinois. Besides, I'd rather just stay local, so I have a place to sleep until my training is done. One is as good as the other. Look at that thing grooving. Shake it, but don't break it, am I right? What was really weird about that 3D printer was the smell that it gave off as it was doing its thing. I stood there and watched it for a few minutes before setting up the camera to get this footage. I know I am getting old because I am very suspicious and equally skeptical of all this technology. I remember the first time I saw one of those thermometers that you didn't even have to touch to the patient. I hated them. No way that was accurate. Next thing you know, they're gonna start 3D printing versions of people, and they're gonna start taking our jobs. Then we will become the 3D printers, and they're gonna start using us to make things while they lay around pulling their 3D dicks. I'm a 2D man myself. I don't understand all the hype around 3D. That's not a world I want to live in. I do know that much. Save that for the cockroaches and the rapscallions of the world. Not me. Man, I can't wait to get out onto the road. I've been looking forward to it for so long, and now it's here. Sort of. A lot of hoops to jump through and brass rings to grab, but I am closer now than I have ever been. I just want to get out there and live like a vagabond. In the grand scheme of things, I don't think that is too much to ask. Not a lot of people would choose that kind of life. I absolutely would. I have had literal dreams about it. I just hope that nothing comes along and fucks that up. I have the worst luck sometimes. Don't get me wrong. I'm highly motivated and thinking positively, but I don't want to drop the ball right out of the gate. I've looked at it from every angle, and I am confident that everything will work out for the best. I just need to give my best efforts. Man, I was just laying here in the dark in the middle of the night when Dirt suddenly bit my foot. You guys remember him, right? The fluffiest cat in feline history? I didn't even know he was in here, and I was rubbing my feet together, and I guess it displeased him. He bit me, and then decided he wanted to leave, but I had closed the door, so he started scratching at it with his big-ass feet, forcing me to get up and open it for him. He's kind of a jerk sometimes. I'm gonna miss hanging out with him when I'm out on the road, though. I wonder if he will miss me. Probably not. I feel like he hung out with me by default, when everyone else was asleep or busy doing other things. I have busy hands, so if you put a cat in front of me and I'll start rubbing it. It's all good. I'm gonna do my thing either way. I just caught a whiff of my armpits, and man, they are beefy and ripe. I'm gonna take a shower soon, as the sun is almost up. Yeah, I keep weird hours. My whole sleep schedule is just fucked. It doesn't matter, though. My custodian job always starts in the late afternoon. Sometimes I get morning wood in the late afternoon. Does that ever happen to you guys? It happens to me all of the time. It'll be like 4 in the afternoon and we suddenly enter the bone zone, bricked up, chubbed out. I suspect a blood flow problem. The good thing about this CDL training is that there is a mandatory Department of Transportation physical. If there is anything going on with me, they will discover it. I have heard stories of people going in for physicals and finding out something crazy is happening. So here is something interesting. I was at the Speedway gas station the other day and I saw a Malibu, the same color as mine, with California plates pumping gas. Ain't that a trip? I was bugging out and that was why I filmed them using the rearview mirror. I had to get the footage surreptitiously. I didn't want to be spotted doing so. People from California are crazy. Trust me, I know. I lived amongst those psychopaths for almost 2 decades. Those people are completely insane. You gotta watch yourself. What do you fools know about King Wart? This is King Wart after getting whacked over the head with vegetables pulled from out of the ground and he's about to die. This was his one and only appearance in a Mario Brothers game. Bowser must have been on vacation. He is making some crazy faces right there. I ate the Nashville hot chicken sandwich from Hardee's the other night, and my face was making faces like that when I was left in the throes of heartburn. It was gnarly with a capital N. 10 out of 10 would recommend. I think once we get into the double-digit episodes, I'm gonna stop using this AI voice and start using my real voice. I will play around with it and see what we can do. I just get bothered with how unnatural it sounds. I'm kind of over it, to be honest. Plus, I feel like there will be a more personal connection between myself and my audience if they can hear my own voice. I don't know, like I said, I will look into it and see what we can do. So after biting me and acting like a total cocksmith, look who has decided to join us. Lording over everything he can see, it is him's fluffy highness Dirt. This reminds me of that scene from the original animated Lion King, where Mufasa tells Simba about the kingdom. What about that shadowy place? That's where I sleep, bitch. And if I want to rub my feet together while I am laying down, I will. Don't you think you can just come down here and bite my feet just because you are displeased? You may be cute, but you're not that cute. It was a trip though, for real. I just looked over and there he was, just watching me like a total creep. It's cool. Cats are kinda creepy anyway. They do weird things and the constant ball licking is kinda weird if you ask me. I'm probably just jealous though. I mean, if you were going to tell me that you had the ability to lay in the middle of the living room floor and lick your balls in a room full of people unnoticed, that you wouldn't, then you were full of shit. Yellow moons, red hearts, green clovers, and orange stars. That leprechaun is on acid. Look at him. Falling asleep when he is supposed to be keeping watch against all enemies, foreign and domestic. I will let all of his future employers know. He also pooped out in the playroom, but I didn't say anything about it or report it to anyone else. It's not my problem. Somewhere far off in the distance, I can hear a train horn blowing. There are some train tracks near here, but I've never seen a train crossing that road. It makes me wonder what they are up to. Is it some secret military shit that is on that train? Or is it crates full of gay stuff? Also, I have heard that the Pope has pneumonia and kidney failure. So, speaking of gay stuff, maybe the train is carrying crates of dildos for all the altar boys and their grooming-ass priests. I wouldn't be shocked at all. Religion is the opiate of the masses. Karl Marx, yo. Look at him, about to fall asleep. I am going to let him fall asleep, and just when he gets comfortable, I am going to bite him on his foot and kick him out. You think I won't do it? I'm from Waterloo, where the vampires hang out. Okay, so here's a true story. You fucking people like true stories so much. Here goes one for you. I pawned my PlayStation 4 and an aftermarket controller for $40. They refused to take the games because they, quote, don't sell well, unquote. But whatever. I took that $40 and went across the street and bought a couple packs of smokes and a bottle of Seagram 7. Traditional American whiskey. Yeah, I am a fucked up ass alcoholic, but so what? Plenty of those running around. Don't look at me. If it wasn't me, it would be some other asshole out here talking about how he's got it under control and how it's not a problem, yada yada. You watch. Even with all of this going on, I'll still get where I need to go, and you'll still be here complaining how it's not fair. Look at your dumb ass, you sloppy bitch. I mean, if we were just gonna keep it real, then let's just keep it real. Yeah, I'm a drunk, but you are a wank pheasant. I can quit drinking, but you will always be a wank pheasant. So what are you gonna do about that? Two things, you chump stain. Nothing, and like it. Here are some scenes from the last level of Contra, because I am a badass motherfucker. If you do not remember the Konami code, that has nothing to do with me. That is on you. I mean, look at these graphics. Look at this realism. You can't beat this. I mean, we literally showed King Wart earlier, but now we are on to Contra. This game was awesome. Don't get me wrong, there are old heads out there right now talking about how Galaga and Space Invaders was their shit. But they don't know what the fuck they're saying. Those are the same dupes who were pumping quarters into machines before they realized that they could play for free on an Atari or a Nintendo 24/7. Now you want me to cry for them? I say, suck my dick, bitch. Whoa, even I was not ready for the aggressiveness of that last statement. But the last level of Contra was amazing. You usually couldn't even get this far without the code. But if you did, you were fighting a beating heart that was spewing scorpions at you. Don't worry, you'll soon see it. You don't really think that I brought you guys all the way to this point to not show you the finish. I'm all about that life. Yeah, we showed you the demise of King Wart, but we did not show you the finish of Super Mario Part 2. That was a copyright thing. If you want to get old school, let's talk about Excitebike. Real motherfuckers know about Excitebike. If you don't know about it, you ain't about it. I remember playing that game in arcade, my stepdad feeding me quarters like a monkey at the goddamn petting zoo. But here's the beating heart spewing scorpions that I promised. I remember thinking that this was the most confusion I'd ever faced as a young gamer. A beating heart is a bad thing? Okay, whatever. The details don't matter to me. Just kill everything that moves. Remember when you beat that game, bad dudes? You got to eat a hamburger with the president, who looked like Bill Clinton. I feel like there is a version where if you hit a certain score, you could join Bill Clinton to Epstein Island. Oh, am I not supposed to talk about that? I don't know about now, but back in the day, Bill Clinton was the man. He was even featured in the comic book when Superman got killed by Doomsday. Him and Hillary both were present, and of course there were conspiracy theories that they were involved. Not that it mattered. Superman was alive again a couple of issues later, and no one was the wiser. I still have the Death of Superman comic, and it's worth the same now as it was then. I say let's destroy that beating heart spewing scorpions, climb into the helicopter and get the fuck out of here. The aliens will have time to get crazier, but that can't happen if we bomb the whole island and get the fuck out of there. So if you don't know, you should know that this background is from the 1991 movie Double Impact, which saw Van Damme playing twin brothers. It is a film that sort of bridges the gap between the 80s and the 90s, if you ask me. It is also the spiritual successor to Bloodsport. You can see that here, as the final match in Bloodsport gets a rematch in the confines of this ship here. I personally couldn't say, but I feel like Van Damme wouldn't stand a chance in Bloodsport or this movie. In a real-life fight, I feel like the Chinese dude would fuck him up. Another interesting fact about this movie is that good old What's His Nuts performed all of his own stunts. What, dude? What does it matter? Are you doing some sort of book report on this movie or what? This is the kind of movie that the Turner networks would put on at 2 a.m. For some reason, Ho Chi keeps picking up barrels to show off his strength, but eventually Van Damme goes back to the well and starts doing windmill kicks, and naturally, he defeats him with them. It's a bunch of bullshit if you ask me. This movie came out almost exactly 1 month after Terminator 2, so it never stood a chance. You can play 2 roles, 3 roles, or 4 roles, and it wouldn't matter. Nothing can prepare you for what you must face except to say that the future is not set. There is no fate but what we make. And here we go with an endless supply of kicks. 1 punch to the face, and then it's kick after kick after kick after kick until old boy is dead. Sparking flames and blowing everything up. Just keep watching, you'll see. About a month after this movie came out, grunge descended on society. And just like that, machismo was dead. The 80s were dead and the bohemian simplicity of the 90s were in full effect. But if you like seeing Bolo Young getting fucked up, and if you like seeing Van Damme kicks ad nauseum, then this is for you. I tried to tell you that he'd get killed this time around. No good deed. Well, that about does it for this week. The last of the single-digit episodes is in the books. See you next week. Same BDC time, same BDC channel.